And I know that sounds expensive, but if you go to put sewer in there and put a new pipe in there, probably talking 150, 200,000 a block, depending how deep the pipe is. And the other thing to remember with I&I, a good share of your leakage comes from services, especially on older homes where they have clay tile. We can go in and we can line the pipe, and that does a huge amount. And then the next place you find the leakage is in the services, in the private lines. And that's another conundrum in that, do you want to go in and line the pipe, or do you require the homeowner to bring the pipe up to code? And that is not an easy
Well, you're not lining pipes going to the homeowner.
No, right now we're lining the main sewer only. But what you'll find is in a lot of those, after you go back and televise them, you'll find a lot of leakage in those laterals. We have tried to close every lateral that we could find that was not active. Like a lot of the pipes up on 11th Street, for example, had Ys off of them for future homes. They've been there for 80 years and they leak. And whenever we could identify one that we didn't need to cut out, we always left it closed up so we weren't experiencing leakage from that Y. So, did that kind of help you all?
Yes.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
You bet.
Is there anything else to
Yeah.
report?
Under item 2, or?
Yes,
Okay. Item 2, sitting in front of you tonight, I think in your council packet, there's a change order for the wastewater plant. Let me see if I can explain that a little bit better. There's 3 items on that change order. It says cost to relocate Mid-American transformer. Okay, what has happened since we bid this project is Mid-American Energy has become very concerned about their power line that goes into the plant. They have an underground power line that goes in from the gravel road out there and runs down your plant driveway, and it's underground pretty much all the way into the plant. As part of that, they're going to replace that whole line. They're going overhead, and yeah, they're going to put it on poles instead of underground.
Why?
I don't know for sure. The biggest reason, I think, is because they consider overhead power a lot easier to service than underground power. And so they want to go overhead, and the old service, I guess, is in very poor condition. I could give you the guy at Mid-American if you want to talk with him, because they did all the design work up to the plant. But part of their deal is they have the sole right to tell you where you're going to put your transformer. Okay, when we did the original design work, they weren't going to do any work out there, so we put the transformer right back where it started. Since that time, they've required that the transformer be moved to another location, which means more secondary wire for you folks. And that really is what this charge reflects, is about $5,000 worth of bigger cable, bigger conduit to put the transformer in a location that they agreed to.
Was the original bid set up to put underground?
It was. It was originally set up to go exactly back like it was before, meaning that their feeder came in, our transformer went right on top of their feeder, and then we wired from that point into the main panels. And they don't like where the transformer is because it's not accessible by truck. So they required that you move it out away. You know where the metal building is out there? Kind of move it out toward that metal building where they can get to it by a truck. And
Well, I got a problem with this deal going overhead. Do we have any control over that?
you really don't. And you really don't have any control over the transformer either. I said, well, I really need to talk to the council about this because you guys will be paying the bill for more secondary wire. And was reminded quickly that they have the sole right to tell you where that transformer goes and require you to move it where they need it located. I can get you the guy's name if you want to talk with him, though. And
See, everybody, you know, out in the country, we bury every line.
Yep.
Just to get it out of our hair.
Get it out of the way.
We don't have to worry about it going down, ice,
right.
snow, and we experienced that this winter.
Right. You know, and it's funny because when you talk to the folks at Mid-American, they actually say they have a lot more failures underground than they do overhead. Mostly lightning failures, ironically. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I'm afraid you're a little on the edge of my expertise, but
And I know counties up in northwest Iowa that are doing the whole county, all the lines are going underneath the ground,
Right.
so they don't have issues with ice storms anymore.
Right.
And they're going to that, and now we're going back on top of the
Going
ground.
back on top. That's right. And they really do have the sole, I mean, if you want to have a discussion with them, you certainly can, but they really do have the sole ability to decide how they're going to deliver power to you. And then they have the sole ability to tell you how you're going to locate your transformer for their access. And so, yeah, it's, but I'd be glad to get you the guy's name if you do want to.
Do you think
talk
there's
to him.
any, do you think it would do any good to visit with that person, or they pretty much made up their mind what they want to do, and we're pretty much stuck doing it?
My experience with Mid-American has been they've been good people to work with. If you sit down and talk to them, they've been good to work with. And I would encourage you to do that.
I would like to hear
Yeah,
from
I
you.
think so too.
I have no issue with that at all.
Okay, then we table this, number 2, for this council meeting. Will that throw a wrench in anything in their schedule or whatever? How soon should we come to an agreement? By next council meeting, will that be okay?
That would be good. And then that'd be a couple of weeks away.
Right.
I think that's not unreasonable.
Okay. Then we'll table that for 2 weeks, and
Okay.
you guys can visit with him. see
And I'll
what
get
it's
Adam
about.
the name of the gentleman from Mid-American.
Actually, it'll be 3 weeks,
I think that'll be okay.
okay?
And if you like, I'll get the name of the guy from Mid-American to Adam.
To Adam.
And you folks can have a talk with him and see what might be workable.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, well, thanks.
You bet. Are there any other questions or discussions? Thank you, Darren, very
You bet.
much for being
Thank
here this
you.
evening. Giving us an update on things.